Today we go back to the golden age of LEGO Star Wars with a review of the 75040 General Grievous wheelbike. This set released in 2014, which was the year that I would consider to be the last year of the golden age, and I would also consider this to be the best year for LEGO Star Wars. Not only do I think these sets from this year were fantastic, I also think this is the best box art that LEGO ever used. I love the Star Wars logo. I think it's the best one that they've ever done. I think the Darth Vader looks absolutely fantastic, the way it just kind of looks like it's lunging at you. And then I love the dark blue, cloudy style. It's so cool. My only issue with box art during this time period is the minifigures. I just don't think these look good at all in the way that they are on the box. I think the current way of doing it, the way that they've been doing it for the last maybe 10 years now, I think that's the much better way of doing it. But yeah, this set looks to have a lot of fun play features, which we'll get to in a moment. And I also apologise, this is not my fault at all, it's the retailer's fault 10 years ago for actually putting a sticker on the box, as when I tried to peel off the sticker that came with the set when I bought it, I tried to peel it off, and it just led to damage on the box. It's not my fault, I probably should have left it on, but it's fine, I'll probably make a separate video about that. At the top we get a look at the 1-to-1 scale of Obi-Wan Kenobi, as well as another look at General Grievous, and a nice, more dynamic photo of the set. The back of the box highlights all these sets' play features and also shows a picture of what the set would look like in universe. As far as the back of the box goes, I think it's also the best that they've ever done. Looking at all the play features is fantastic and all, but I just love that the way that they've laid it out. I like how they've done little dots to point to where the play features actually occur. And this sort of glowing stripe around the side bordering the images looks so cool as well, in my opinion. Once again, 2014 is my favourite year for LEGO box art, and it's also just my favourite year for LEGO Star Wars in general, and I will be doing a full ranking of every 2014 LEGO Star Wars set within the next couple months. This is probably the best rendition of a Obi-Wan Kenobi from Revenge of the Sith that we've ever seen. My only issue with the minifigure being in this set is that it doesn't come with a lightsaber, which is quite disappointing, as I feel like any Jedi should come with a lightsaber, no matter the scene or the Jedi. And obviously it is kind of accurate that it didn't come with a lightsaber, because during this entire sequence he didn't have a lightsaber, but again I think it's just a necessary addition. He does have a blaster though. I think the leg printing and torso printing is fine, there's no complaints there. And he does also have a flip face, which is much appreciated. General Grievous is another amazing minifigure in this set. It's got all 4 lightsabers, which is also much appreciated. This version of the minifigure released in 2014, 2018, and 2020 across 6 years in total. And I hope that when they do re-release this minifigure in a set, I hope they don't change it at all. I think this is a massive case of don't fix what isn't broken. He also comes with a staff from his Magna Guards, which is also a nice inclusion. However, in the actual set, I would lean towards giving it to Obi-Wan Kenobi. I think General Grievous is an amazing minifigure for this set, and obviously a much-needed, necessary inclusion. One thing I will say about the build is that it is an absolute mess. But it is accurate to the source material, so if you don't like this type of build, then don't get the set, because it is accurate, and there's nothing actually wrong with it. But it is just a bit messy, and doesn't display well, to be honest. However, I think the details in this set make it look a lot ahead of its time. On the right side of the model, there is a flick-fire missile, although I wouldn't recommend flicking it, as you can just push it, although it doesn't work very well. I never liked flick-fire missiles, as they just kind of hurt your fingers after a couple tries, but if we try it now, yeah, it does work really well when you flick it, but it just hurt your finger a little bit. But yeah, I think the overall detailing is absolutely phenomenal for a set of 2014. Again, I think it's ahead of its time. One thing I will say, though, is that the build does get really repetitive. You build about 12 of this same module so you can achieve a full circle shape, it's not a bad thing, to be honest, but it's just not good either. It did make for a kind of boring building experience for about 10 minutes there, but that is really not the end of the world. This is where General Grievous is supposed to be sat. He has a little printed control panel, which I think is a really cool addition. It's on a transparent pink piece, and they don't usually print transparent pieces, so this was actually really cool, especially in 2014. Once again, the overall build is just not for everybody, quite messy, but it does look really good overall, especially if you get the minifigures on it, which I'll do in a moment. So this is what the minifigures look like on the set, and I think this is an absolutely fantastic look. This is how it was described to put it on the box, and I think it looks amazing. And there is no other way that I would like to display the minifigures personally. I think this is the most dynamic and fun-looking look. And yeah, these minifigures make this set look so much better. I think this set does rely on the minifigures to actually be perfect, to be honest. Now onto the main plate feature of the set. Now you can actually make this thing roll along really smoothly, actually. Now this came to me as a huge surprise. Obviously it's a plate feature that you would expect on a General Grievous wheel bike, but given how clunky it is and how the wheel is in the centre with all these parts, attachments on the side, I just didn't think that it would be able to go as smoothly as it actually does. So, it's a little bit difficult, but of course now when I'm recording I can't do it, but give me a sec. Okay, here we go. I think that's really cool, personally. I don't know why it wasn't working a moment ago. Maybe it takes a little bit of trial and error, but now it's working every single time. That is probably one of the best play features seen on a set that costs £20. Overall, I think this is a really fun set, one that I would recommend, especially if you can have the finances at the moment to be able to buy a retired set. If you can get it sealed, I would much advise you to do so. It's such a cool set and such a fun build overall, despite it being a bit repetitive in some sections. The minifigures are perfect and actually make it worth the price, as the minifigures in total are worth £35, and I got it for £40, meaning the build is about £5. And I would say it's actually very much worth that price, even though it did retail for £20 back in the day. Once again, I apologise for the big inconvenience on the front of the box. It kind of just took away from the overall look. And in the next few days, I am making a mock with this set, and it's a mock that I am very proud of. I will show it for a moment just now. Now, this is the mock. Now, it doesn't look like much, does it? But that is where the box comes in, and that is where the wheel bike comes in. And I think this looks fantastic, and I will do a full video on this within the next few days. Anyway, let me think of this set. I gave it a 9 out of 10. But maybe I'm being a little bit generous. Maybe it's closer to an 8 to 8.5. Anyway, once again, let me think of this, and thanks for watching. Bye.